Hi, my name is Yona. I'm the after school leader at Field Teen Center, and today I'm going to talk about Dig by A.S. King, which is about the roots of a family tree, things hidden beneath the surface, and potatoes. This book, quite frankly, blew my mind, and it's kind of hard to talk about because it's complicated and it's very surreal. It's one of those books where it's kind of hard to tell what's happening or why at the beginning of the story, but by the end, it all comes together. It makes a lot of sense, and it's really, really juicy and upsetting and engaging. So this story definitely comes with a couple trigger warnings. There is domestic abuse, drug use, and the sale thereof. There's racism, and there is some sexual content, including the implied or possible abuse of a minor. That said, I think this story is super, super worth reading. It's one of very few fiction books for teens that I have seen that attempts to tackle the stuff of what it means to be white in the US from the perspective of white teenagers who are grappling with their own racial identity and with their parents. This story is set in and around Philadelphia, and it follows 3 generations of people, starting with Marla and Gottfried, who are kind of grandparent aged. They are millionaires, and they have decided not to share any of their wealth with their children or grandchildren because they want them to thrive. They're the kind of suburban white folks who don't communicate with their families, are not really in touch with anybody. They care a lot about everything being exactly the right way and tradition, and they don't care as much about whether their children are actually okay. So some of their children are, in poverty or in abusive relationships, and that of course affects their children, the grandchildren who are teenagers and the protagonists of the story. So there are 5 of them. One of them is selling drugs out of an Arby's window. One of them is going back and forth to Jamaica with his dad who's dying of cancer. One of them can kind of flicker between places, like teleport, and is leaving mysterious clues for a bunch of the other characters. One of them is carrying around a snow shovel, kind of like his security blanket. And it all sounds really weird because it is, but I promise it makes sense altogether. This book gave me a lot to think about. It gave me a lot of feelings. And it was just such a juicy mystery to follow. I don't know what else to tell you except that you should read it, especially if you are a white teenager living in the Philly area, but just like everybody should read this book. If you do read it, let me know what you think. Did it make you want to research anything about your own family history? Or did it make you think of the Philly suburbs any differently? Or did it make you think of anyone in your life differently? Or did it make you want to approach something in your life in a different way? I think the 5 teenagers at the end of this story come to some conclusions about what kinds of people they want to be and what kind of change they want to make in the world. So I would be curious to hear what people think about their own lives after reading this story. Definitely get in touch with us by Instagram or by email, whether you've read this book or any other book that you want to talk to us about.